So last question, excuse me, comes from Gabe. Gabe says, hey, my guys, my name is Gabe. Love the show. I wanted to ask about Nintendo's decisions. I will always love Nintendo. I have always had a Nintendo console in my house and will continue to do so for the foreseeable future. However, as you may know, they have problems. The company, not the consoles. As fans, we have to deal with amiibo scarcity, no third-party support, lackluster online, different regions getting different services, i.e. being able to purchase amiibo from Nintendo's UK site. However, in the US, well, for us, the new 3DS not coming with Majora's Mask preloaded, but Europe got it. Below expectation Wii U hardware sales, and many, many more. If you could fix one of Nintendo's problems, which would you choose? What do you think would make the greatest impact in Nintendo's favor?
That's a really good question.
Great question, Gabe. I'm glad you sent this.
That's easy for me.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me, mister. I'm cool. So what is so easy about it?
Well, if you could fix one of their problems, as much as I love Amiibo and would want to buy them, one of the core problems for me with the Wii U is that I love this machine. I love the games on it, but its appeal is limited because of the overall breadth of the lineup, the software lineup. And so I would fix their third-party relations and, basically the moment you boost the amount of original software that becomes available on this platform, you have a vibrant platform that then more players play, so you have more people to play with and more people discover these amazing games. That's the biggest issue for me with a limited platform. It was similar with the GameCube, right? It was somewhat similar with the N64, where people discounted the N64 because of the cart format, but with the Wii U, it's really, really pronounced. You can find awesome indie games on the platform, but it is a limited experience.
So I have my answer, but if you have yours, I'll let you go first.
No, you can go first.
Okay, so
I do have mine.
Mine is slightly similar to yours, but not really, because I feel like the biggest thing holding them back, at least in my heart, is sort of an unawareness of, to some degree, where technology is right now. I feel like they are not quick to adopt. They are not quick to sort of grab onto things that you're seeing in other places, and it's being done right, and they still choose to sort of design it their own way. Let's take Mario Kart 8's update process as an example. When you went to update your Mario Kart 8, how did you do that?
What did I do? I started the game, then it said there was an update, then I updated it, then there was no update, and then I had to go and update.
You're praying to the update gods that you got it right. And when you go into the game, like I woke up on Thursday morning, I checked it, I tap on the application, launch it, no update happened. I quit the application, come back out, go to the eShop, so that in the back of my brain, everything is synchronized. This is the excuses that I've built around what's happening. Then I go back into the application. Oh, there's an update. Then it starts to download. Then I check the game, and even though the update either wasn't applied or it wasn't there, had to back out. I said, forget this. I'm going to bed. Then I got back up an hour later, went and checked, and everything was there. But I feel like that's just one example of them just slightly being behind. I think this voiceover situation is another part of that.
Buying something in the store.
I think the idea of synchronizing like seamlessly. So I've been playing a lot of Hearthstone lately. Ever since it came out on iPhone, I have fallen into the Hearthstone bucket. Like I'm in. I love it. I think about Hearthstone all the time now. When I play that game on my phone, and when I play that game on my iPad, and when I play that game now on my Mac, I don't have to do any syncing of any time. I could play a match on this phone, stop playing, open the iPad version, everything is caught up. Everything's the same. The decks are all aligned. It's not that, like, these things are possible.
Meanwhile, Nintendo sent out Mewtwo codes a few weeks ago, and one of them you could redeem on the shop on Wii U, and the other one you had to redeem on the in-game shop on 3DS, which didn't exist when they sent out those codes. So you had to go into the shop and manually update the 3DS version of Smash to redeem the code within the game, but you didn't have to do that on the Wii U version. And it was like, why am I doing this? And that kind of goes, that kind of partners with what I wanted to say.
Hand in hand, buying software from the eShop.
Yeah.
Like, do you own this game? Or
you're
buying this DLC? Do you own this?
That's the thing I would change.
You tell me. That's your job.
The thing I want.
I'm sorry. I'm about to crack because like part of me is like, ugh.
That's the thing I want to see them change more than anything is that sort of dedicated that account system. Get it together. Like how many times do I have to show you that it's like dating a senile person. Where you're like, where did you leave the keys? I left them in the car. Why are they in the car? Well, you've never driven the car. That's our car. Like, how many times do I have to buy Mario 64 before they're like, that's yours? It's yours forever. Don't worry about it. How many times do I have to buy the original? I bought the original Mario 25 times.
See, like, but what you're saying is, whereas I think of everyone else because I want everybody to discover awesome games, you're completely selfish. You just want to get your updates faster. And,
no, I just want I want to be a Nintendo fan and stop suffering over it.
But there's the reward.
We're losing him. He's cracking.
I just
That's it. This is the end of it.
No, I just cracked. But seriously, it's like the other day I turned to a friend of mine. I'm crying with laughter. It's right here. I turned to a friend of mine. I was like, look, why does every cool thing that comes from Nintendo lately feel like it comes bundled with an apology?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just, what is that about?
Well, it's their 2 steps forward, 1 step back Nintendo
They're
approach.
a smart company. They make amazing games. They know how to make software like no one's business. They have these accidental way of tripping over incredible ideas. And then in other areas, you're like, who's at the wheel right now?
Tripping is perfect, and it's what they actually put into the Smash Brothers game before this one. It's your favorite character in the world running full speed, about to do the best move of his life, and then he falls flat on his face.
You know what?
And he gets back up and he does the move, but that's part of the equation.
Remember, right? There's a hardware maker named Sony. There's a software maker named Microsoft, and then there's the crazy toy store owner named Nintendo.
Oh, I know.
And when you walk into that toy store, it's gonna fall on your head. Like there's gonna be a Mogwai in a cage, and you have no idea why it's there. And
it's that kind of toy store.
It doesn't all fit quite together.
Even if my reasons are slightly selfish, I feel like these are part of a recipe that has been holding them back for the last couple of hardware cycles.
Yeah.
It has, right? This sort of pride that they are the innovators of gaming and they have great ideas and they know what they're doing, bundled with just to some degree what can be perceived as arrogance, because they're not looking over at the other pool and going, well, they got it working that way and that's really smart. How can we make that better? They're not asking that question. They're just saying, this is how we do it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, hey, I don't. Sometimes that doesn't work out. Sometimes it does.
Yeah, and some of that is definitely. I mean, you saw the chink in the armor with the PlayStation Vita and the PlayStation 4 as well. How they're not quite on the same page. I mean, like, lend your Vita to somebody else and have them try to log in with that PSN account, right? Like, the platforms get really complicated when you have to deal with multiple systems, and you spread your development so it's really thin. Nintendo has so many platforms, you know?
Yeah, no, and to be fair, I feel like this technology problem, to a degree, affects consoles as a whole. I don't mean to throw Nintendo under the bus with this example, because I feel like even between your Vita and your PS4, it's not quite seamless yet. It's still something that the hardware makers don't entirely understand, but yet you look over at the smartphone pool and those kids have it, and they've been had it. You know what I mean? Brian, what would you change about Nintendo?
Well, so I was hinting at it, but it's the account system, right? It goes right into that. It's just sort of it's that never knowing if there's any ownership of what I'm buying or what I'm getting. It's rebuying the same things over and over. It's having 2 systems that should know each other, but they don't. They're total strangers. They're just like
cousins.
Hey, they're cousins. They never talk.
Yeah.
But their parents are always talking about how great they are together, and they're not. They don't have any idea what each other does. So that's my big thing is sort of being like, every time I buy a game from them, I go, this is going to be the one you guys are going to remember, right? In a few years, when you're reselling this game, you can go, well, Brian bought that 5 years ago. He has it already. It's his.
Yeah.
But I don't. I don't have it. So I would like to see them finally address that. You and I interviewed Reggie before the Wind Waker Wii U came out, and we asked him about this, and he said, "Well, it's something we're always working on, and we have stuff to announce soon." No, you don't. No, you don't. You never did.
I think to some degree, though, it still is not so much that it's hard for me to say they're not aware of it, because I think Nintendo of America is very aware of it, and they do try to get Japan to understand some of that stuff. But at the end of the day, Japan still calls a lot of those shots.
Yeah.
And so ultimately it becomes them trying their best to inform them so that they can make the best decision possible.
Yeah. And they may need an external company to help them with that too, right?
Sure.
Like
Well,
DNA.
Yeah, that was a token example of the first time you've ever seen Nintendo reach out to another company and said, hey, now we own half of you, or close to half of you. Like the largest stake in your company is now us, and we want you to help us make this awesome thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I want to see them do that all the time, but I do want them to be a lot more aware of just where the world is right now in terms of technology.
Yeah. And
3DS, Wii U don't feel inherently cool anymore.
And they have made some really strange, shrewd moves in the past where, you know, there's a clear leader in the market inventing something, getting it right, and then there's another company that Nintendo allied itself with. You know, just go back to like RandNet and like the first like Nintendo Internet basically was this horse racing Tribune thing, and like it didn't quite work. There's the CD drive maker with Philips, where then that didn't quite work out, and they scorned Sony, and like they have a really weird strategy sometimes picking the allies. But, you know, sometimes it works out, too.
Yeah, and sometimes they make something like a Wii, which absolutely transformed the face of video games. For at least the first 5 years, the Wii was not a fad. Anyone who still hangs on to that, like, you're crazy. Like, that was 100% a very smart engineering move that ultimately got them a foothold, again, on games. And then smartphones came along.
Yeah, and maybe right next to that Mogwai is sitting a brilliant concept for the NX, right? That's going to dazzle us when that gets announced next year.
Well, Gabe, thank you so much for that question. That was really deep. I feel like it was like relief to just let some of this stuff out.
I didn't know you.
That was.
You have all this anger.
It was good to watch.
Yeah, like good to watch.
It was funny. It was funny to experience.
It's because you care, though. It's because you love.
Oh, we all do, though. Yeah. I think we all, you know, pretty much have. You know, we try to do our jobs as best we can, but we also have an investment to like, hey, we hope to see them kind of do well. We hope to see games do well in general. Yeah, it's not even a tribalistic sort of passion for Nintendo alone. It's just games in general.
I mean, I love this industry, and I love my job. So
cool.